Hey folks, welcome to Planning Traffic. Today's episode, we are not on the road, not anywhere, just a Tree Creek, and I got the can ready just in case of emergency, because yeah, it gets a little buggy. But so yeah, today it's a short long form video that I'm doing. It's going to go on my punk rock playlist. I just finished getting tickets for Sugar. Sugar is playing in the Atlanta area. Don't mind me if I start fogging this little area, because it may happen at any moment. Sugar is playing in the Georgia area. One show in Atlanta, one show in Athens. I got tickets for both. About the third week in October. And it really made me want to document the following. So in 1983 was the first time that I went to a punk rock show. I think I'd been to arena rock concerts like Ozzy Osbourne, and I think I had seen the Police they were doing a stadium tour on the Synchronicity tour prior to that. So it was 83 was the first time I ever went to a punk rock hall, and it was called Love Hall. That was December of 1983, and from that moment on, now it helped that Husker was the very first band that I really was willing to get in trouble at home. How old was I? 16? And if you have any knowledge about the punk rock gigs that were happening all across the United States and the world for that matter, they really didn't have an official start time, and they certainly didn't have an official end time. So needless to say, I got grounded after I got home from that show. But I did see Husker Du, the Minutemen, COS, Circle of Shit from Philadelphia, along with FOD, Flag of Democracy, Philadelphia. And I had a real attachment from that day forward to Husker Du. And then inevitably, yeah, so anyway, so like, yeah, 1983. So it was one of the really, I think I've documented that on my YouTube channel before. And I went to the area where the show was. So that's on my that's on a playlist, punk rock playlist that I have. What I wanted to talk about is having followed Bob Mould. I saw Husker Du, I want to say 2 or 3 times in Philadelphia. And then just now that Sugar's touring again, I think it's their first live shows in 31 years. So that was his first, that was the first real electric amp band outside his solo work since Husker Du. And I saw Sugar in 1994. So it is kind of exciting, like, wow, man, to see Sugar. I love Sugar's music. I think Bob Mould as a guitar player, punk rock guitar player, along with Brian Baker, are probably the most influential. And here comes the fog. Yeah. Okay. Are the most influential in my music life. Bob Mould being number 1. It made me reflect on the following story. 1984, the day before Husker Du releases ZEN Arcade, or maybe the week before. I'm gonna see if I can find the flyer. We were in a basement in West Philly. I believe it was a West Side Club. I used to call it JEFF Jenkins' house because Jeff Jenkins was the DJ, WKDU, Drexel University. That was the must-hear radio during the week. I don't know if he had 1 or 2 shows during the week. They were late night shows. We were in high school, turning JEFF Jenkins on. And he had a real great rapport with a number of the legends of the hardcore punk genre. One of them being Husker Du. And not saying he booked that show, he didn't book that show, but the week before ZEN Arcade came out, we all went to West Side Club, which it's not a club, folks. It's the basement of someone's home. And saw Husker Du the week before ZEN Arcade came out. Now here's the kicker. So I didn't look at Bob Mould any differently than I looked at Ozzy Osbourne, in the sense that, you know, if I went to a concert, those performers were up here, and, you know, we were down here. And I'm not talking about just the stage was up here. Just as a performer, it was a fanboy. At that point, I was what? About 18 years old, or whatever. Get the years mixed up. But we're walking up towards Jeff Jenkins' house, and I see right away, I see all three guys from Husker Du out front on the porch drinking beers. There was a keg, I think, and just kind of bullshitting. I'm like, oh man, that's kind of cool, because I was like, oh, I didn't have a lot of experience yet going to punk rock shows, hardcore punk rock shows, and I was like, I don't know. I didn't know what to think. Look, I just knew the guy made great records. The Husker Du made great records already. And oh, by the way, your favorite band is standing on this porch, and they're having a conversation with just other people, other punks, people in the neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. So we go up, and big wrestling fan, always had been, at that point in time, had been probably in the wrestling for about 7 or 8 years already. And that's on the TV. So it's like, cool, like you can have a beer, get ready to see Husker Du, and at the same time, they got on the TV, they got a pretty dope, looked like a WWF match, maybe WWF, whatever. And then as we're watching it, Bob Mould came over, and we're all watching the wrestling together, and I was like, hey man, you know, hi, hello, you know, being a civilized human being. And then he goes, what do you think of this match? And I went, oh shoot, well, we started talking about wrestling. And it was like, oh my God, man, this moment in time, which from 2026 perspective, it's monumental. ZEN Arcade ended up becoming another unbelievable Husker Du record. It was a week prior to it, so it was summer of 1984. I'm sitting here listening. My favorite band, the singer, you know, I know Grant Hart handled some vocal too, but is this really happening? Like, I was there with my buddy Eric. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Probably the greatest music experience I ever had. And to this day, it's still probably one of the, I'm gonna say, top 5 greatest music experiences. Bob Mould, Husker Du, probably influenced me more. I don't think it comes out in the songs that I wrote, but it definitely inspired me to want to get my own band together. And also, oh, by the way, when you're out, not that I needed to see Bob Mould do it, but I also, in the back of my mind, was like, wow, like that's part of the fun of it, the camaraderie, the community of it, is to just go out. There was a time we played in DC, and we had a guest list. I think we were at the Black Cat, I think it was. And, you know, had a guest list. We were there with 7 Seconds. 7 Seconds, of course, headlining there. And no one really came down from Philly, so we really didn't have to put anybody on the guest list. I remember going out front that club and going, just asking people who were sitting around, are you going in? I don't have any money, just wanted to hang out today. Well, the remaining slots on the guest list went to people that just didn't have the money to get in. But it was like, today I just got to thinking, I went, yo, I'm going to see Sugar 2 times. And this is going to be the second and third time that I see them. I did see them once in 1994. And what I loved most, even first of all, they killed it. I saw them at the Trocadero, 1994. The opening band was Magnapop, who I really thought they were incredible. I've seen them maybe 2 to 3 times total, 3 to 4 maybe. Just recently saw them in Atlanta. So that whole journey of being a Husker Du fan, a Bob Mould fan, you see him being, you know, dude, there was a point where he actually was like, yeah, if we ever roll through town, we should go to a match. at the Spectrum, and I was like, this is not, this is just too insane to even process that he's saying that. And it stuck with me. Here I'm going to be 60. I'm going to be 60 in 2 weeks, and I remember that day very, very well. And I'm going to celebrate that memory and that positive energy that came from having seen him for the first time in 1983, Husker Du, following Bob Mould all the way through to 2026. 2 Sugar shows, and I'm gonna document them as best I can on YouTube. I'm gonna throw some shorts up where, you know, I'm gonna be filming some songs, and I think I'm going to just have a personal celebration of just wow. Like, I am blessed and thankful that I'm still here, that they're still here, and I'm going to celebrate it that Friday and Saturday night in October. And I wanted to just come on and say that, man, like, punk rock is something else. It really is. You do not, as a performer, you do not need to be a dick. I think one of the great parts of that is the fact that you can have a very personable relationship with your audience. It's not just the physical contact of the show, and it's just the thankfulness that you're there, that people come out to see you. Those shows, the show that I'm referring to, that show prior to ZEN Arcade being released, the fact of the matter is, they still happen in basements all over the country, all over the world, I'm sure too. And that's a must experience life event as a fan. If you can get to that level of, yo, there's a house show, there's a house show, there's a house show, get there. And I know there's a lot of genres of music that do house show. And they know, everybody knows, to take advantage of it, because it's just a moment in time to just be at the ground floor, organic creativity level of music, of live performance. Husker Du ripped into ZEN Arcade, they ripped into Land Speed Record, they ripped into, oh my God, Metal Circus, in a basement, with a hot water heater. I think I was leaning against a hot water heater the whole time. Unbelievable. Oh, by the way, West Philly basements, and I played a couple of them. It's some of the longest, I swear to God, I think they're almost as long as CBGB's. It's incredible. But that's where I wanted to come on, folks, and please put in the comments any experiences you had seeing Sugar, Husker Du, Bob Mould, and I hope they're positive ones. Lenny Crunch once told me, because many times the topic of Husker Du or ZEN Arcade or Bob Mould would pop up on Facebook, and I would be like, man, I'll never forget that day out in West Philly in that basement, and that little band where we were chilling up on the first floor and having some drinks and watching wrestling and talking to Bob Mould and la-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And Lenny goes, I'm glad somebody had a good time. Rest in peace, Lenny. You know, but when he said that, I actually was like, oh God, like, cause it ain't the same. It ain't the same for the guy that puts $5 down for the guy that actually booked it. And I know Lenny booked that. Lenny got them in there. Lenny did some wonderful, amazing things booking in Philadelphia. Another solid dude. But yeah, folks, I had to do it. I had to put this up. Share these thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts. But if any experiences you had, it may not even have to be about Bob Mould. It could be just about anybody that you bumped into. I have a handful of them over the course of my life, and but that one's a very special one. Yeah, the week before. Oh God, and then I'm going to leave this with you on the way out. So I remember one day, right when the internet started, I was like, oh, I wonder. I had a free day. I'm like loose. I'm like, I do whatever I want. And I went, what bands are playing? And it just so happened Magnapop was up in New York at the Mercury Lounge. And I went, yeah, okay, I'm going. So in the car, heading up there. I get there early. The lead singer's name's Linda. And she told, like, she had a great story because Bob Mould produced, I think, Hot Boxing by Magnapop, and had a great story about a party that they went to. It was crazy. Yeah, they got an eye full of a lot of different scenarios at that party. But and then having followed Magnapop, I got a video on my channel about Magnapop because I just saw them again after, oh my God, I don't know, 20-something years. When they played in Atlanta, I shot a video there. But well, just good times. All right, folks, have a great day. Pleasant tomorrow. Man, turn your music up. Turn that therapy way up today. You know what I mean? Turn it way up today because, well, every day. But I think I'm going to do it today just because Sugar 2 times. October 23rd, October 24th. One's in Atlanta, one's in Athens, one's in the Georgia Theater. I'm really excited about that. Georgia Theater, Historic Theater in Athens. Okay, great day, Pleasant. We'll see you next episode.